Hi, in this lesson, I'm going to talk to you about the SharePoint Modern Team Site. And that's what you're looking at right here. It is a SharePoint team site, the modern style team site. We're going to give you a little bit of a tour of the site so I can show you where things are, what features that we have, and we'll look at a couple of the other pages and libraries and lists in this site. So let's go ahead and let's get started. We're going to start up here at the top in the upper right corner. You'll see the little bell. That is where you go ahead and see notifications and alerts. The little gear icon, that is for the settings of the site. The question mark, of course, is where you can go for help, but you don't need that. That's why you've got me. And over here, it shows you a little bit about yourself, your account. I'm signed in today as Gary Colson, and if I click on that, you'll see it gives me information there, access to that account. Now, over here in the upper left, you see the little app launcher here, and it takes me to all the different parts of Office 365. Below that, we have information about our site. We have our site logo here, Elevator Skills, and that's a feature that can be changed, and we've changed that so we could add our logo. Next to that, we have the HR team site. That is the name of the site, and again, that's something that can be changed and something that was created when the site was created. Below that, you'll see it says private group. Now, that means that it is a private group site, and only people who are members of this site have access to it, as opposed to a public SharePoint site where everybody in your organization would have access to it. Over here to the right again, we see a lot of links. We see following, and there's a blue star. Now, if I click on the blue star, it's now sort of a hollow, an outline of a star, and it says not following. This lets me know if I'm following, if I'm going to get updates about this site. Next to that, we see next steps, and next steps is more information about how to use SharePoint, but again, you don't need that. That's why I'm here. And below that, you'll see it says 4 members. That means there are 4 people who belong to this site, and if I click on it, I see their names, and I can go ahead and reach out to them that way. Below that, we have our navigation. Now, this is going to change depending on what part of our SharePoint site we're on. On our home page here, we see the new button, and if I click it, it allows me to create new features for my site. Next to that, we have page details, and it gives me information about the page. Over to the right, you'll see it says published. It gives me the date that this site was created, and a big edit button where I can go ahead and edit the layout on this page. Over here to the left, I have the quick launch, and these are links to other parts of the SharePoint site. You see, I also have this search box, and if I click in there, it already gives me things that are on the site, like the 2 news articles, different documents, links to other SharePoint sites, and if I want to start looking at stuff, I can simply start typing, and you see it'll look for all of the relevant things in SharePoint in this site. Now, down here in the center, this big section here, this news section, is exactly what it says. It's a news part. It's a part where people can post news that is relevant to the team or to this site. And you see we have 2 articles in there right now. And it also shows me their dates and how many views they've had. To the right of that, we see the quick links. And quick links is where I can add links to other places. Not just in SharePoint, not just in this site. They can be to anywhere on the internet. It can be to other SharePoint sites. It can be to documents, to libraries, all kinds of things. Below that, we have the document library. This is a small preview of our document library. It's showing us 2 documents that are in that library, and it allows us to add new documents. We can see all the documents in the library if we want. But again, this is just kind of a shortcut and a preview of the document library. Down here in the bottom, we have the activity section, and this shows us all of the recent activity on our site. You'll see that we have documents, little previews of them, who put them up, when they were edited, links to the news articles. There's even some Outlook conversations in there. And again, another document, all kinds of things. Whatever's happening, you're going to see it here in the activity section. Now, let's go back over to our quick launch and take a look at some of these things. We have the home button, and we are on the home page for the team site. But we also have conversations. Now, conversations will open up Outlook and show you group conversations for this site. Documents is the document library, and if I go ahead and click there, you'll see it takes me right to that document library. And I want you to look at the navigation because now there are other options here. This is contextual. It's going to show us different things depending on what part of SharePoint we are in. Let's go back to our home page. You'll see Notebook. Now, Notebook will open up a OneNote Notebook for this site. Pages will show me all of the pages that are part of this site. Now, Employee List. This is a custom list that was created for this site. And if I click on it, it's going to take me to that SharePoint list here. And we can see what that looks like. Employee Handbook is another document library, and if I click there, it's going to take me to that document library. There we go. This one has a few more documents in it than the other one. We have site contents. Now, site contents, let's take a look there. It's going to show me all of the things that are part of my site. Like there's the document library, there's the employee handbook document library. See, it tells you what the types are, lists, pages, and their dates, and how many items are in there. So there's a lot of useful information here in site contents, including site usage, another very, very useful feature. We also have the recycle bin. And the recycle bin here in SharePoint works the same way the recycle bin does on Windows. If you delete something, whether accidentally or on purpose, and you want to get it back, the recycle bin is where you go ahead to do that. And lastly, we have the edit button. And this edit button will allow you to edit the quick launch menu. So that is the SharePoint team site. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.